Welcome to another edition of International Soccer Break. I'm your host, Sahil, here with Roy. Rahi is actually on his way to Europe right now. We sent him there for the Euros to cover the tournament. We'll be covering the tournament. So he's actually on a plane right now to Europe. So to watch the Euros and cover the Euros and all that kind of stuff. Roycito, you're more domestic this time around, huh? Not going to Europe.
I'm very domestic. I am on the go, moving between locations, but couldn't give up the opportunity to talk about Champions League and Champions League from our region of the world, CONCACAF.
Yeah, what most people don't realize is this weekend there was not only the UEFA Champions League, which is, of course, according to some, the pinnacle of club football, but this other cup, which is CONCACAF Champions Cup, previously the CONCACAF Champions League. So we cannot not talk about that because there was a lot of stories involved with that. Okay, so let us start in Europe. We will start with, of course, Borussia Dortmund versus Real Madrid. Real Madrid, Roy always seems to somehow find a way to get this done. They didn't play well. I didn't think they played a very good game.
Nope.
Dortmund, I think, dominated the first half, but somehow this team always wins.
They always win, and it's a champions mentality. It's the fact that they are the winningest team in Europe in the history of the game. It's the fact that they have a coach who knows how to win. They have players who have been through this time and time again. And as an organization, they are what I would call the most prestigious organization in the sport. They know how to win these tournaments. And watching the game, for whatever reason, Dortmund was dominating. From minute one, it was the first half of absolute and utter domination from Dortmund. They had chances that, we talk about the kind of chances that are missed in MLS. These were worse than those.
100%.
So these were very amateur level misses. There was a break, a one-on-one. I forget the forward's name, but he tried to dribble around the goalkeeper to the left. And it's just disastrous misses, shocking, just point blank miscues. And at no point did I feel that Dortmund would win this game. At no point. And I don't think anyone else did.
I think those missed chances, the Füllkrug one, the header, and as well as the breakaway that you mentioned, you have to put those away against Real Madrid. And look, Courtois, this goes back to Courtois, why he is, in my opinion, still the best goalkeeper in the world.
I think so.
The fact of the matter is that he had been injured for most of the season, comes back and made a huge difference in this final. But everyone was saying, and it was funny because the commentators as well were saying, "Oh, Dortmund is dominating, so it's just a matter of time before one of these chances." And that's not how it works against Real Madrid. If you don't put your chances away, you will suffer.
Against anyone else, it works that way. Against Manchester City, it works that way. We saw Real Madrid, Manchester City. They sunk them. But for some reason, Real Madrid has an element that no one else has. They don't have to play well. They don't have to dominate possession. They don't have to have the most chances. They don't have to have the most goal differential, nothing. They don't need anything aside from whatever element it is they have, that prestige, that championship mentality that's going to get them through. And they got through.
Yeah, Roy, let me ask you that, because it's interesting. We talk about in football / soccer in general, these teams that always seem to do this, right? Before it was the German national team, not so much recently, but you talk about these big teams on the club levels. You see the same major teams in Europe, this Manchester City, Real Madrid, all these teams. Somehow in these moments where it matters a game, they don't play well. They still seem to win. So do you think, now taking away sort of the elements around and the magical part of it, do you think it's just being in these high pressure situations just over and over again, more so than the smaller teams? Do you think that's what it is?
100%. I think this is not a matter of technique. It's not a matter of talent. It's not a matter of game plan. It is a matter of having players, having coaches, being part of an organization who has been here before and has been here often. They are the team that has won the Champions League more than anyone else. That changes the mindset of the organization and everyone in it. So you don't have to play well. A lot of the Champions Leagues they won were like this. They weren't the better team on the field that day, but they came away with the victory. So a lot of this is mental, and you see it. Maybe it's not time to transition over to our Champions Cup, but you see it every single year in the Champions Cup.
Yeah.
Liga MX, they don't necessarily play better in this one was different, but they don't necessarily play better in finals, but you just know they're going to win.
Yeah,
you just know they're going to win.
Let's get that in a second. Just to close the book on the Champions League out. So congratulations to Real Madrid, as usual.
Again,
one quick thing we did see Gareth Bale celebrating with the Real Madrid players. I thought
cute,
I had a little bit of a love-hate relationship with that club, but he was there. So
yeah, that was really nice to see, actually, because I thought he left on pretty bad terms. I thought it was a kind of situation where, like, that's a chapter I'm going to close in my life. But no, he was joyous and celebrating and had a similar emotional moment with Klopp in the stadium. The rousing standing ovation he got when they showed him on screen. That was beautiful. Yeah.
Some good stuff. So congratulations to Madrid and Madridistas. Enjoy as you always do every other year. So, okay. Now switching to our region, for those of you out there, there was another important final besides the Champions League, and this was a big opportunity for an MLS team, in this case the Columbus Crew, to show what they're made of, go to Mexico and get the result. And Roy, that's not at all what happened.
A disaster, man. And I had high hopes because they got rid of Tigres. They got rid of Monterrey, arguably better teams than Pachuca. And they did those away. They beat these teams away. They came away in goal differential in Mexico, which is something MLS doesn't do. We've almost never done it historically. So this game was, think of the worst possible scenario of how this game could have gone for Columbus. And they checked every single box. They were defensively all over the freaking place. They didn't know where to stand. They seemed to forget about positioning. They seemed to forget the game plan. They have arguably the best coach in MLS, in Nancy, and it seemed like he got it wrong as well. Everyone got it wrong. Every single player. Cucho Hernandez, the best player, one of the best forwards in the league, best player Columbus has, just complete off day, decides to show up half asleep, just tired. Seems like he had been drinking the night before or something. I don't know what was wrong with him, but he was a disaster. Goalkeeper was an absolute train wreck. Schulte got scored on the little curving ball to the near post. It wasn't even upper corner. It was just something very easily savable. He'd slow motion, puts his arm out, brings his arm back in. It was a train wreck. It was a horrible performance by Columbus Crew. They put a terrible mark on MLS. Because a lot of people watch these games. A lot of people watch these finals. And it just makes MLS look terrible, man. It makes MLS look like a terrible league.
What kind of defending was going on? Because the game could have been 10-0 in the first half. In the first half, it could have been 10-0. Yep. The end of the game could have been like 14-0 or something, man. It was insane. I've never seen a game like that where literally there's just so much space.
Yeah. I think it's one of the downfalls of Wilfried Nancy's style of play. He's very aggressive moving forward. He likes to have numbers in the box. He likes to have numbers in the attacking half of the field. And he likes to overwhelm the opposition in that way. So he tried to do that, but every time, and this is the problem with MLS in general, it goes back to the Real Madrid conversation, is they're not used to being in these big tournaments. They're not used to being in finals of these big tournaments, and Columbus has never been there. So this is something that it's so mental, and you see it in the decisions of where to pass. Every goal pretty much was, the ball was in comfortable possession for Columbus in the attacking half. They give a wrong pass and they're on the back foot. It's 3v2. It's 3v1. Everyone's rushing back. Goalkeeper's rushing back. And every goal was that. Every goal was that. So the mentality isn't strong enough to play that style of play where they're so aggressively pushing forward because they're going to give the wrong pass. They're going to get nervous. They're going to release the ball sooner than they should. They're not going to do the back pass when they should, or they're going to do the back pass and give it away. It's all mental, man. They're not used to being here.
Well, another victory for a Mexican league team in this
Every year.
particular competition. You
Jeez.
know, Seattle Sounders, I think, are the one blip in the domination of the Mexican league. But look, just before we close up here, so where does MLS go from here for this tournament? Because I don't know, they're gonna have to do something.
Wholesale changes are needed. This is exhausting as a fan. I, for years, have tried to convert. As you know, I've been trying to convert Rocky to be an MLS fan for my
Yeah,
entire life that I've known him. I have failed. I got him for a season or two when he fell in love with Atlanta United, but it's impossible to convince any soccer fan to watch MLS after these performances. What needs to change, the schedule is a disaster. This tournament, the first half of this tournament is during the MLS offseason. So we're going to get
yeah,
knocked out early stages. And then the final is probably the only game where MLS teams are finally okay. We're 8 weeks in. We're at a good place. We're hitting our stride, but it's too late. It's too late. The wrong team got to the final in a lot of cases, or we never got to the final. So scheduling needs a change. These extreme rules around what kind of players we could bring in with the money that we have. And on top of that, there's a budget limit, and you could only have 3 DPs, but one of them has to be a young one. And then there's discovery rights. So teams can't sign the players they want. They got to pay another team to sign that player, like Marco Royce right now. The Galaxy wants him. Charlotte has discovery rights. So Galaxy has to pay him $1 million to get the right to talk to Mark. This is insane. These rules
yeah.
are freaking insane, and it limits the growth, it limits the potential, and it limits us in these tournaments. I am terrified of the day we play in Libertadores because we're going to get wrecked.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely wrecked.
Marco Royce, who did absolutely nothing in the Champions League final,
Nothing.
that Marco Royce. But
That's the one. Yeah.
yeah. So it's look, a lot of changes needed across the board. I think if you're a Venezuelan fan, the one good thing about this particular game is you saw Solomon Rondon, and
Oh, he was
you should
good.
be happy. You should be happy about that because he had a fantastic game in
He
this
was so good.
final.
Oh,
He
my
was
goodness.
he was
2
excellent.
gorgeous
So
goals. Yeah.
so congratulations to Pachuca and Real Madrid. Surprise, surprise, another Mexican league team wins the CONCACAF Champions Cup, and Real Madrid wins the the UEFA Champions League. Excuse me, and that's that. So now we'll shift over. Now it'll be all international. A huge summer of soccer coming up, and
Can't
we'll
wait.
be here to cover all of it for you. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel. We will be bringing you coverage pretty close to every day coming up soon here. So excited out there, Roy. I know you're excited. There's going to be a major tournament here in the US, and I think we're all excited.
It's going to be incredible, man. Let's go USA. In my case, let's go Argentina y Peru. Who else are you going for, Sahil? Are you going for any other team?
I will save that. I will save that for another
Oh,
video.
sneaky guy. I like it. What a cliffhanger.
Look at that. But for now, everyone out there, keep watching the beautiful game. Take a little bit of a break and watch some of these friendlies to get involved with your favorite teams for both the Euro and Copa America. See you all next time.